I'm just going to share with you now a story that my stepfather, Dave Thomas, thank you, Dave, shared with me from Facebook. And this story originally came from a woman named Caroline Crockett Brock. I've edited it slightly for length. I'm a 45-year-old white woman living in the South, and today was the first time I spoke frankly about racism with a black man. When Ernest, my appliance repairman, came to the front door, I welcomed him in. As this was his second visit and we'd established a friendly rapport, I asked him how he was feeling in the current national climate. Naturally, he assumed I was talking about the coronavirus because what white person actually addresses racism head-on, in person, in their own home? When Ernest realized I wanted to know about his experience with racism, he began answering my questions. What's it like for you on a day-to-day basis as a black man? Do cops ever give you any trouble? The answers were illuminating. Ernest, a middle-aged, friendly, successful business owner, gets pulled over in Myrtle Beach at least 6 times a year. He doesn't get pulled over for traffic violations, but on the suspicion of him being a suspect in one crime or another. Mind you, he is in uniform, driving in a work van clearly marked with his business on the side. They ask him about the boxes in his car, parts and pieces of appliances. They ask to see his invoices and ask him why there is money and checks in his invoice clipboard. They ask if he's selling drugs. These cops get angry if he asks for a badge number or pushes back in any way. Every time he is the one who has to explain himself, although they have no real cause to question him. Ernest used to help folks out after dark with emergencies. Not anymore. He does not work past dinner time, not because he doesn't need the business, but because it isn't safe for him to be out after dark. He says, "There's nothing out there in the world for me past dark." Let me say that again. Ernest, a middle-aged black man in uniform, cannot work past dark in Myrtle Beach in 2020 because it's not safe for him. He did not say this with any kind of agenda. It was a quiet, matter-of-fact truth, a truth that needs to be heard. When I asked Ernest what ethnic terms he gets offended at, he said that the most offensive term people use is boy. Ernest has a bachelor's in electronics and an associate's in HVAC. He is not a boy, and the term boy in the South implies inferiority in station and status. He came to Myrtle Beach and got a job at Hobart. The supervisor repeatedly used that term. Ernest complained. After several complaints, Ernest was fired. Ernest says most white people are a little scared of him, and he's often put in a position where he has to prove himself, as though he's not qualified to repair appliances. After getting a job for 2 years at Sears Appliance, Ernest started his own company, one he's been running for several years. He is the best repairman we have had and has taught me about washers and dryers and how to maintain them myself, even helping me with another washer-dryer set and a dishwasher without charging me. I highly recommend his company. Ernest doesn't have hope that racism will change, no matter who the president is. His dad taught him, quote, "It's a white man's world, and he's done his best to live within it." When I asked him what I could do, he said everyone needs to pray and realize we're all just one country and one people. I am a 45-year-old white woman living in the South. I can begin healing our country by talking frankly with African Americans in my world, by listening to their lived experience and speaking up. I can help by actively promoting Black-owned businesses. That's what I can do today. Let's start by listening and lifting up. It's that simple.